Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone-Faced Reactions. I'm Theta, and we're here with episode 2 of Crest of the Stars. Let's see, it's been a day since the last episode, but I've got my notes here handy, which you saw me record last time. Fortunately, there hasn't been enough time for a comment section. However, the Discord was kind enough to immediately react to the first upload. So we have Rogue Knight here from the Discord with a comment and a clarification from a question that I had brought up post a note taking segment last time. And they say the show really needed to provide some more establishment shots on maps and exactly where things are. Also, the space combat takes could have been explained better, but once you get a feel for how combat works, you can enjoy it even more. Now, I had explicitly also wondered out loud what happened to the Leaf Erikson because it just explodes in orbit. And I think during the episode I had taken it to mean like it had never taken off, but I guess it had actually got there and it was just sitting in orbit and it exploded. I don't. In hindsight, thinking about it just gives me Gundam Seed vibes, like Janus 7, where we see that thing just explode in space and it's unexplained so far to our watching. But Rogue Knight here also broke out the books, paraphrased it for me. It says, the ancestors of the inhabitants of the planet Martin, I guess that's Martine, came on an interstellar immigration vessel built in the solar system named the Leaf Erikson. During this era, the scarcity of yawns, so they put a question mark here too, so I'm not sure, dropped that instead of colonial hubs, it became possible to introduce starships. On day 57 of the first season of the 172nd year of their post landing calendar, the Leif Erikson exploded without warning. A single spaceship appeared from out of the explosion. That ship refused all communication, but circled Martine 3 times before turning back. On day 81 of that very same season and a and year, sorry, sometimes I'm just not expecting how these things are going to be phrased, and they're phrased weirdly sometimes. On day 81 of that very same season and year, a large fleet made its appearance. This time it was they who wished to communicate. They'd most likely analyzed the radio waves from prior and determined that Martinese had its roots in the tongue of English and set their translation device accordingly. Well, I mean, that goes to benefit us. The intro, which threw me off so hard that I actually paused, went back. You wouldn't see this in the edit, but I paused and like, oh crap, did I get the wrong episode or did I get not subtitle or something? I paused, went back, jumped forward to make sure there were subtitles, and then just watched it all over again. But yeah, no, humankind, fleet has translation devices that they're using, so that's also explained. Sorry, I'm also just thrown off now that I'm realizing I read that so badly that I just apparently was not ready to read out loud today. So I apologize for that. I also apologize for any time that I've ever said, buying time for my brain to catch up to what I'm doing. So yeah, thank you, Rogue Knight, for breaking out the books to answer some questions. They did explicitly say that they cut off around the areas that gave away information that I wouldn't know yet. So I also appreciate the no spoilers. Otherwise, I think I'm still left with the questions that I had before. So going into this episode, I have the what happened to Rena? Like, we know that Teal, God fuck his soul, I still don't like that guy. I don't know if he gets better, but I don't like him now. Uh, told her to run away, and we have no idea as of right now if she got away, where she got off to. Did she get off planet? I mean, if she got off planet, where would she go? Because it was her father negotiating to be noble. Sorry, I don't know what. I know his son turns into a prince. Does that make him the king? Because I know from the Humankind Fleet's perspective, the ABH, sorry, whatever we're gonna call them, he's a magistrate, right? Because they just the only difference here is they picked it from within the planet sector, which means that his deal there was the only thing that was going to open up the space lanes to make the humans able to travel, or the people of Martine be able to travel, which implies that she couldn't have gone anywhere before that, which means that she should be hiding on the planet, right? This is me trying to logic out step by step. So I'd expect Arena to be on the planet, so when our boy gets back, he might be able to find her, or she'll find him. I don't know. And the what's the other big thing? Two more things, I think. The ennoblement thing. I'm expecting to see the dad again at some point, and I'm expecting him to have elf ears. Because I'm going to assume ennoblement means uplift. That he wasn't just made a noble because we don't want humans representing us. That would not be elegant. Yes, so I'm assuming he's basically going to be schooled, um, genetically uplifted, and made into one of them. The only thing that would dissuade me otherwise is the fact that Jinto was not made one of them. And he is kind of representing them. He's wearing the clothes, but then again, he says he's never met one before, and we know we're getting that today because that character showed up in the previews. And people were saying, don't watch the previews, they're spoilers. Well, I watch the show as the people who made it intended it to be watched. And they include previews, so that's what I do. And the only other thing that's lingering in my mind before we get started here is the ship that attacked Erickson 2 with the ABH fleet, the Humankind fleet, or is it a different vessel? Because the opening of the show seems to indicate that the Humankind fleet was fighting something and possibly losing. It's hard to tell because we don't know what was being symbolized by the triangles and the circles and everything that was on the readout that were vanishing and appearing. Especially because we weren't, we didn't get any of those subtitles that I was talking about. So yeah, I have a feeling that there's a large war going on between factions that we haven't seen yet, and that perhaps they came here because it's a valuable location, or I don't know. They wanted those defense codes for something, and it didn't seem like it'd be useful for them. That sounds like a question that I have, and it certainly is a question that I posed, but it's not a question that I'm concerned about. Perhaps later they'll explain it, and I'll be like, oh, that was important, but for right now, not so much. I'll put that in the same category of why is everybody so angry at Rock Lynn? It seemed like he made a pretty good deal and kept out the status quo just fine. So, yeah, that's that. Other than that, I think we just go ahead and get on into it and see what's going on today, because I see we get to meet her, I believe. Unless that person that we saw in the preview isn't her, in which case, years are the same. I don't know. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Twilight Zone opening. I mean, they said that before. No, to stop infighting. Oh, the eyes are just white. You know, they said that before. The prince of the Alb, however you pronounce it, when he was giving the demands from orbit, had basically said, we have no interest, we're going to send a magistrate, and the magistrate isn't going to care either. At least that's the impression that I got, that the magistrate wasn't going to... I guess that's the name of the episode. The magistrate wasn't going to mess with the day-to-day affairs or something. But I guess that kind of changes things when the magistrate is the former president of the colony. You know, when you think about it. Now, I'm not saying this is something to be as upset about as they were. It really feels like this is the Battlestar Galactica Gaius Baltar move, where he kind of sold himself out to the invaders. You make me the leader and I'll make sure everything you want happens. That sort of thing. Except this time it was a lot less offensive. Like, again, I do not understand why everyone's so pissed. I get that Teal could be a little bit upset because it's like his best friend did all this without consulting. But the dude took it so personal and went, like, off on the kid. And it was like, Jesus. Now, speaking of it, the opening kind of reminds me of Battlestar Galactica, too. The original, of course. I'm not talking about the new 2000s one. I'm talking about 80s Battlestar Galactica. Okay, we've gone back in time again. I'm guessing before he gets sent off to the school. This is me at every doctor's office I go to. Oh, okay. Maybe before he got sent, or how he felt in the moment. Don't mess with this guy, he's part of the X-Men.
見送りは俺一人だ。他は来ない。あ、そう。みんなを責めないでくれ。びっくりしたんだよ。アーブの学校に通ってるのは知ってたけど、まさかそんな身分だったなんて。
いいんだ。僕の方こそ。
That didn't seem like a baseball team. What was that soccer?
けど貴族だって言ったら仲間に入れてくれてたかい？
いや、お前があんなに下手くそな選手だって分かってたらお断りだ。
なんだと？
初めてだからな。貴族とどう付き合えばいいか分からないんだ。みんな。
I did think I mentioned last time I was a bit confused by the
その格好は結構似合ってるけどな。
ending credit shot showing him in the uniform those guys were wearing. Because it seemed like he was older than when he left to go to the ABBA school.
お前にお熱だぜ。羨ましいよな。この年間殺し。
Is that Riza?
たくお前の顔が俺についてりゃな。
帝国貴族の服を着た地上人が珍しいだけだって。足を使ってる犬を見るみたいにね。
犬どころか、お前さんは
Okay, I guess not. I thought we were just going right into it.
そりゃ地上人にしてはだけどさ。
まあね。
Yeah, all the background characters are giving him side
俺
eye.
は立体映像でしかアーブを見たことがないんだが、本当に全員美男美女なのか。
さあ、僕だって実物は見たことないんだから。
いや、戻ってきたくても来れないに決まってる。帝国が奴をすんなり
More of
刻む
his
と思
ass.
うか。へ、奴も騙されているんだよ。いい君だ。
動物園に惹かれていく動物の気持ちがよくわかったね。わけもわからずここに来て。
Yeah, I'm noticing it more now in the recap there. Teal kind of already has elf ears.
また帝都に留学さ。
え、故郷に帰るんじゃないのか。
ああ、軍の事務官を養成する学校に行くんだよ。
お前軍人になるのか。
義務なんだよ。爵位を継ぐには最低10年政界軍に勤務しなきゃダメなんだ。
貴族ってのも大変なんだな。
身分が高いほど義務が
Do you believe they mentioned that before?
客よりは理にかなってるよ。
I kind of assumed that this was the spaceport at Martin, though. Martine. You got me doing it.
18時にここへ迎えに来ることになってる。
何？軍艦が宇宙港へ入るのか？
こんな格好してるのもそのためさ。
アーブの軍人がここに来るのか？
アーブかどうか知らないけど、政界軍の軍師が来るよ。もうすぐ18時だ。
そうか、それじゃあ俺ここで退散した方がいいな。
僕が連行されるところは見物していかないの。
遠慮しとく。きっとあまりの惨めさに憐憫の涙が溢れるだろうから。
よく言うよ。デルクトゥ
I guess it's kind of like
そんなに褒めるな。照れくさ
the
いじゃないか。
last moments of his normal
お前
life.
のその貴族としての正式な名前はなんて言うんだ？
リン・スユーヌ・ロクハイド伯爵公使ジントだよ。確か。
Still don't quite know what the
自分の名
Siyun
前なの
part
に
means.
確かはないだろ
馴染んでないんだ。どうも他人の名前みたいでね。
う。そうか。じゃあリン中略ジント、俺様の名前クー・ドゥリンをよく覚えておけ。リンなんとかジントに比べればずっと覚えやすいだろ。
忘れるもんか。君もなんとかの部分はいいから、リン・ジントの名を忘れないでくれ。
よし。
They've already got 5
では
characters
リン
listed
ジュー
down,
ルロクハイド伯爵
but I
公
already
使
feel like I'm gonna need a board.
選別だ。
これあの時の。
惑星ドゥルクトゥの思い出だ。
Okay, so it definitely is not
あ
Martine. I saw the name Delcto
いいの
before,
か？
あ。
but I thought you said villain of Decto. I just thought that was like a story.
楽しみに。美人の客室係と二人っきりだといいな。
よせよ。どんな美人より僕はお前の方がいいんだ。
俺はごめんだ。
衝撃の告白なのに。
続きはまた今度。
今度帰ったらな。
その時は俺の会社でこき使ってやるぜ。
頼むよ。
ついでに我が社は元帝国貴族を雇用してますって宣伝してやる。
ありがたいね。ドリン。さよなら。
What
そして僕
sport
は
were they playing?
その後ろ姿が扉の向こうに消えるまで彼を見送った。
Not a sports guy, by the way.
最後まで振り返らなかった。
It sounded like the cut thing between a Gundam mid-episode. Oh, that was a lucky miss. He's never a coordinated guy, is he? Yeah, you kids are at a real risk of getting an oversized baseball to the face. Like that.
Lin Suyun ロックハイド伯爵公使ジンと閣下か？
いかにも。あ、いや。
I'd say that preview didn't spoil all that much.
どうもありがとう。
巡察官ゴースロスより迎えに来た。ついて参られるがよい。
ちょっと待って。
Okay, camera. Not every anime has to follow the one spot.
ちょっと待ってよ。 よ。待てよ君。君は僕の名前を知ってるわけだよね。
そなたはリンスユのロックハイド伯爵公子ジンと閣下ではないのか？
そう、僕はそのリン中略ジントであることには違いないけど、僕の名前を君が知ってて君の名前を僕が知らないっていうのはなんていうかすごく変な感じなんだ。だからそのアーブはどうか。
I guess they don't ask their names that often. Okay, camera.
ラフィールと呼ぶがよい。
それはまるで戦勝宣言みたいだった。
その代わり私はそなたをジントとだけ呼びたい。よいか？
もちろんだよ。
This almost feels like a love is war moment. Like concessions are being made.
いけない。おばあさん。はい、これ。
主任。トラ情報アーブ。
おばあさん。
Because they've cost you so much.
ジント行こう。
Maybe that's why she warmed up to him. Because that's the normal response. I mean, normal response they get from people.
さっき私が敬礼した時後ろに下がったな。あれはなんだ？
あれね。あれが故郷の挨拶の仕方なんだ。
変わってるんだな。
No, I've had a very abusive childhood.
防いでるみたいだったぞ。
That's what that sounds like.
そう。どの文化でも馴染みのないものが見たら奇妙に思えるものだよ。
でもジントもアーブなんだから我ら星たちの眷属のやり方に慣れた方がいいと思う。
星たちの眷属。遺伝子芸術の産物と呼ばれる彼らは一般的に美形で不老、200年以上の寿命と青い髪。
Wow, that's different from the immortal thing we got before.
星たちの眷属、後世を友とした彼らは自らをそう呼んでいた。僕は帝国が定めた法によって認められているに過ぎなかった。
I was gonna say, it's weird that they're considering him an Ab.
これがゴースロス。
どういうつもりの冗談だ？
Oh, this is a shuttle. But get us to the patrol ship.
これはゴースロス搭載のカリークだ。50人乗り級の。今日の乗客
Do I know my sci-fi or what?
それは光栄だね。じゃあ誰が操縦す？なんや。
で、こちらで良いのか？
他にも船はあるの？
副操舵席で良いか？それとも後ろの居住区画が良いか？
美人の客室係がいるかな？
美人の客室係はいないが、麗しい操舵士ならいる。
もちろん副操舵士席に。そうやって投函につなぐと宇宙船の周りのことが全てわかるって本当？
うん。
Kind of doing a weird avatar thing, aren't we?
感じることができる。
Right up to the head connection part.
そんなに空識核が珍しいか？
そりゃね。地上には自分の後ろが見えるやつなんていないからね。
しかし私には生まれついてのものだからな。
読めるの？こんな早くて。
読めない。
じゃあこれは何のため？
思考結晶が船を点検してるんだ。変なところがあれば赤く表示されて止まる。
Kind of feels like the computer startup, right? Barely anyone can read how fast the computer startup screen goes through. older computers, I guess, not so much modern
操
ones.
縦の仕方としてなんか不合理じゃない？
もっと良い方法があるというのか？
だって例えばそれふと左手で何か物を取ったりしたくはならないの？
何を取るのだ？
だから例えばって
船を飛ばしている間は左手のことは忘れる。
忘れるって
I guess like a
こ
typist
れで終わりだ。
簡単なんだね。
うん。
person just gets used to
飛行
typing
結晶が
whatever's being
仕事を
said.
肩代わりしてくれるおかげだ。
でも機械が間違えることだって
人間だって間違える。
心強い発言だ。
心配性だな、そなたは。さっきから何のかんの言って。我らの機械がそんなに簡単に故障してたまるものか。
そりゃそうだね。
完成。
こちら惑星デルクトゥ第一宇宙港完成。
こちら巡査艦ゴースロス搭載カリーク。定式の兵籍番号は0100-0937-684。第二軍用布
I
と
think I realized
減圧願
get
い。
two things
ゴースロス搭載カリー
attached.
ただいまから減圧する。
Kind of feels like she's really stuck to the seat and something bad happens.
外の様子はわからないよ。
見たいのか？
うん。僕には空視企画がないからね。
そうか。わかった。
I mean, a bumpy ride, your head is just be.
減圧終了。
第二軍用布と肛門解放願う。
了解。ゴースロス搭載カリーク。
That's unexpected.
完全解放確認。出港許可
I
願
mean, it
う。
might not be CG, but it has almost look to it.
ゴースロス搭載カリーク。電磁射出を希望するか。
不要。低温噴射推進で出港する。
了解。
電磁射出などするとそなたは目を回しそうだからな。
ゴースロス搭載カリーク。無事なる帰還を祈る。惑星デルクトゥ第一宇宙港完成。以上。
Yeah, so I guess not everybody treats them
ゴ
that
ースロ
way.
ス搭載カリーク。以上。
Guys in the tower here seem to be just fine. And they even saw her on the camera. I mean, unless it's a not in person thing.
射出する。
飛んだ。
バカにするな。アーブなら子供でもこのぐらいの船は飛ばす。
そうなんだろ
There's
う。
gonna be a lot of this, I can imagine, going forwards.
子供みたいだって言いたいのか？
とんでもない。つまり君たち
I
の
mean,
年
how
って
how superior the Ob are
女
to
性に
all other
年齢
humans, I
失礼
mean.
かなって。
そういうことか。そなたの推測は正しいぞ。まだ16になったばかりだ。
16？ 僕より一つ下だ。
Oh wow, I didn't think he was
加
8,
速してもいい空気
7 years
に出た
ago.
なんだ、そっか。
加速してもいいか？
どうぞ。どのくらいかかるの？
そなたがどのくらいの加速に耐えられるかによる。
僕は地上人だよ。君が平気なら僕だって平気さ。
それなら7分とかからない。行くぞ。
They don't say shit like that without testing the waters first.
加速だ。平気だと言ったじゃないか。
だってこんなの全然平気じゃない。
もう少し緩めるか？
頼むよ。君はどうして平気なの？
うん。先祖の船には重力制御機関がなかったから高速でも無重力で。
頼むわ。早く。
わかった。そうだジント、私も質問がある。
何？
なんで女性に年を聞くのが失礼なんだ？
I feel like she's just really interested in human
全く奇妙な始ま
customs.
りだった。僕らの旅の始まり方は。
Well, was she a spy? Is the old woman a spy, or is she dead? Is that the implication? Lights is evil? Saplock? Was that word I was trying to figure out before? Oh god, it's so blurry, I can't read it. Maybe these are the enemies that I was talking about before. Some of their ships seem different from the op ones. Oh, I cannot read that, it's so blurry. Evil. Vokir is destruction. Okay, so something is attacking all the planets they control. What does that mean? Something from afar. Oh, like, man. A reverse Genesis device. Okay, I'm thinking the old lady was a smuggler of information, right? Like a resistance fighter? That was on the tape? I got real hard vibes of, oh god, was The Man in the High Castle. If you're familiar with that, alternate reality where Japan and Nazi Germany win the war, and you have just basically occupied the United States, and it's about the freedom fighters, the American freedom fighters that are passing information. And one of them is a thing called The Man in the High Castle, which is like a video, or not a videotape, like a cassette reel. I don't know what you call it. Old school film tape of basically of the American sailors coming back from the war. You know, the famous one where the sailor dips the woman in Times Square and gives her a kiss. So basically, in this alternate reality, it's a propaganda reel of what happened in actual reality of the Allies winning the war. But of course, I mean, this is something completely different. I went on a hard tangent there. Let's see what happens next. Oh, human, right?
アブリアル。
私はそなたに言ったはずだな。
Actually, he's human.
大精霊。
教えて。私は愛の娘。
Oh, okay. I think I know what's coming up. I know you guys are saying these are like spoilers and crap. I don't care. I like to theorize what I haven't seen yet. I feel like... Oh shit, now I'm forgetting her name, and I know I'm gonna piss one person off for doing so. I feel like she is to Crest of the Stars what Snow Witch, it's not Snow Witch. I apologize. She was like one of the two main characters I liked in the most in '86. It was Black Dog. I'm gonna call her Anju. I know Anju better than I do something witch. That's now bugging me. It's either White Witch or Snow Witch. I feel like she is the Anju of this show, which is to say, she's not entirely Ob or Humankind Fleet or whatever we're calling them. That she is a half breed or something, which might be why she's so interested in human society or whatever. Something like that. Or maybe not. Yeah, my point there was that Anju was not entirely an 86. Abba. Wait, sorry. I know, I feel like I'm just going crazy into gibberish territory. Abba, wasn't that what they were called? Sorry, the fact that I'm now trying to remember the ABH Empire thing going on here, and now have a similar word from a previous property that we were reacting to, is now throwing me off. She was like, she looked like she had the white hair or platinum hair and the blue eyes of everybody else in E6, but she wasn't. She was like a half breed or mixed race or whatever you want to call it. But maybe the ABH people are genetically modified no matter what. And this is actually more of another property I've brought up in a couple of reactions now. Maybe she's more of a Gattaca. By the way, I apologize if I'm not looking directly at the camera. Sometimes I look up when I'm thinking. Sometimes I stare down while I'm thinking. It's my way of making sure that my brain isn't flustered with focusing on something, even though it's clearly not helping said everybody all the time. Uh, no, sorry. My thought process. Another property I bring up all the time, Gattaca, where everybody at birth is genetically modified to get rid of everything that could be wrong with them in their entire life. And normal births are basically like having a handicap. You can't keep up in normal society. Maybe is that what she means by child of love? That she was a natural birth and not genetically modified like everybody else. Which would be then why she'd be on a ship full of humans and not a ship full of her own people, right? Sorry, that one thought tail-ended every other thought I was having about the episode so far. There were questions that I was trying to keep up with from before the credits started rolling, and then I went off on a tangent during the credits, and then this question hounded me through the preview, so I can't remember what my questions were anymore. I know I specifically wondered what Lander meant at the start of the episode when he was talking to his friend there, which I'll have to take more notes down about his name and everything else because I've already forgotten that. Obviously, though, Lander means planet side, like he's a person who grew up on land. So I guess there must be spacers would be the other one. People who were born in space. Oh, now I remember. She mentioned that her people were so good at taking G's and whatnot, I guess, and acceleration, because originally they didn't have gravity controls on their ships, and it instantly made me think that they're using an explanation that's like into Atlanteans and DC Comics, right? That they have such strong skin and are so super strong because they live their entire lives at the bottom of the ocean, so they're used to just absorbing all the pressures of the bottom of the ocean. That these people are so used to or have evolved or genetically enhanced themselves because they had to, because their original ships didn't have gravity, to be able to take that. I guess it's just living up to the naturals versus coordinators thing that I brought up last episode for Gundam Seed. Just these guys are coordinators in a completely different way, and also they look like elves. I guess it also creates an argument against my whole ennoblement thing, because why would you have to turn anybody into your race if we already have ships full of their ships full of humans and everything else, right? Doesn't seem like we have to do any of that. And it could be that they're just like creating fleets of subservient planets to fight the war that they might be losing. If that's what the implication was there at the end of the episode, that there's a giant war going on and they're not doing great, and that's why they're conquering planets of defenseless people that they think they can bring in to the war as like the word escaped me all of a sudden. basically like a penal battalion, but like of volunteers rather than prisoners. I don't know. Well, normally I would say I would leave it off here and see y'all next time, but I'm gonna do that thing again where I go through, take notes, and I'll catch you on the backside of the notes thing, so we can all be encompassed on this one episode, and I can keep up. And if there's anything I discover in my note taking, I'll let you know. Otherwise, I'll just go over what notes that I took, so we're all on the same page, and then you can then possibly just inform me of anything I may have missed. Because if there's one thing I want to do, it's not miss anything. I'm counting on you people that are here on the journey with me to keep me in lockstep, or at least if I did notice something I just took it the wrong way, make sure that I don't. Please help me out. So yeah, I'll catch you after this quick fast forward. Okay, so note taking over. Just in case it ever comes up, why it might look like it takes me so long to take notes and why I talk about so little for such a long amount of time. Because a lot of the notes don't have a lot to do with the things I talk about after. Like I'm typically adding information to the bits of stuff that I've taken down for characters. Like Lafiel is a pilot, she's a part of the ABH, seems interested in human affairs, considers herself good looking, can connect to a ship and feel what it feels. Piloting it in that way, has been able to do so from birth, is 16. These are examples. Like, that's what I got down for Lafiel so far, and obviously that's all been from this episode. Otherwise, I just add more stuff to other characters. It wasn't much to add to the timeline so far because we didn't get any dates. I guess the only other thing is, I added obviously Doran Koo and Captain Lex Shu and Abrielle. Doran Koo from this episode, obviously, and the two other people from the next episode, just so I can be clear to remember them. Couple of added definitions of terms, but Lander is a planet-born, rare for someone in an Imperial uniform. Just a little note there for me later. Delkto is a planet where Jinto went to school, seems all human, where Doran Koo seems to be from. Still no answer on what sword actually means, but I've still got my definition from last time, adding like a whole paragraph to the description of the humankind empire of Ab. Let's see, we also have some translations here. Lights equals evil. Moros Fodin is mechanical components. Vukir is destruction. Kaseprak Fonoic Foer, true identity of the kin of the stars. And I have Dasile, question mark, question mark, question mark. Other than that, my actual thoughts for episode 2. Jinto is a prince, so he has to serve 10 years of military service in order to get his title. The higher your rank, the greater your duty. Have to wonder how long Lord Dosanio has had to serve. Considering they're both considered like princes, but one is like the prince to the king of the empire, and one's like the prince of a planet. That's where the question lies. Let's see. In my original watch, did not notice before that the old woman who had the tape in her bag, the one that got taken by the pickpocket gang, stopped and looked aghast at Jinto in his outfit moments before the kid stole her purse. So I do appreciate that that was like telegraphed and I was just too blind to see it. Was Jinto really attached to Dorin, or was the implication that there was a relationship going on there? Did that conversation even happen? Or was it a conversation Jinto just wished happened? Because it didn't seem like he was remembering a conversation they had, and they clearly didn't have one on screen. Because he was walking away during the time. So it felt like there was a conversation Jinto wished they had. Like there was a distance between them once he found out he was a noble, so it's hard to tell. I had just a small problem figuring that out, so that's why I made a note. I appreciate that they covered that Jinto was a was a bad player at whatever sport was being suggested, to then show him missing a throw of the ball later on. Again, foreshadowing of things that existed in their own episode. I like the compartmentalization of it. It really worked for me. Another funny note, that the ABBA salute is Piccolo's pose for charging the special beam cannon in Dragon Ball Z. You know, except they're doing a this, he's doing a this. A little shout out for Toriyama there. Rest in peace. Let's see. Lafiel calls Jinto an Abba, despite the fact he is completely human. Does Kin of the Stars reflect the fact that the Abba consider themselves just better humans, and that the humans of other worlds are just their lesser kin? Jinto seems to refer to it exclusively as a term for the Abba proper, since their bodies were built for space, Kin of the Stars. But since he says they are ageless in the first episode, and then in the second that they can live up to 200 years only, it also feels like he has some knowledge contradictions of his own. So I don't know if we're getting a unreliable narrator going on. They launched using low heat propulsion, as LaFiel says. Jinto couldn't handle an electromagnetic boost. Considering Jinto proves later that he is incapable of determining what he can and cannot handle, it would be interesting to see what an electromagnetic boost would be like. And I don't specifically mean on Jinto himself. I just want to see what it looks like. I mean, I think it's probably like a railgun firing effect, if I'm being honest. But I would like, I don't know. I just want to see it. I just want to see it. The alerts showing up at the end of the episode's fight scene, the ones I said I couldn't read, were explained in the very first shot as mechanical components. I already went over that with you. What I ended up writing down. Of course, the ones I could read, Flashing Evil, which really feels like a moral judgment thing. So surprising that it would be programmed into a computer readout for something, especially an alert. And now in hindsight, I kind of feel like maybe that's what they're, seeing in the brains, since I feel what the computer feels, or what the sensors of the ship feel. They feel what the ship feels. So maybe it's moral judgment because it's using the person's brain as a control device, so the person feels that what's attacking them is evil. I don't know. Getting real Babylon 5 shadows use people as control mechanisms for ships level stuff here. The old style military helmet of the one guy in the backdrop of that explosion in the fight scene at the end looked super modern day Earth military to me. Like, I'm going to say this, it's not going to sound super modern, like any Vietnam War movie, for example. I would not be surprised at this point to find out that was a video of a last stand of Earth before the op destroyed it. And that's why everybody is so aghast when watching it. To the whole, what was I saying before? Man in the High Castle thing from before, right? The end credits of the first episode were Jinto's childhood, right up to a point before the 7-year time jump. Interesting to see that the second episode credits seem to be lafiel's. I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm saying her name right. Lafal? Lafal, I think, is what I was saying before, and what I say in my own head, and then I corrected myself mid the note section to lafiel. So, if I go back and forth, I apologize. I'm sure Jinto was going to scream it at some point, and that's really what's going to make it stick in my head. Also, that gem isn't a part of her headdress and is a part of her. Kind of makes me feel like Mashoko Tensei characters, the devil demon guys. His name is escaping me at the moment because we hadn't watched it for a bit. I made a comparison to Anju from '86, but in hindsight, she looks like she's had a very happy childhood, which is, as far from Anju as you possibly could get. But yeah, these are the thoughts that I was left with on the rewatch. Obviously, I don't think I got any of my regular questions answered. Like I said, what happened to Rena? And the old woman, or older woman, hell, she's probably younger than me in real life, but the one that's staring at Jinto, I was like, is that Rena? Could have been, by the way. Who the hell knows? I wouldn't be surprised if we do a fourth, fifth episode, whatever, and it's a flashback to Rena sitting at the dock, just like, is that Jinto? You know. Still haven't answered who the humankind fleet may have been fighting. Obviously, I put forward that one of them may have just been fighting the original humans from Earth. Because, if everybody else comes from Earth, there's always the possibility that humans were slightly more advanced, but maybe not, because it looks like, if I'm right, they just got their fucking hands, their asses handed to them. I don't know. You could also be like Legends of the Galactic Heroes, right? Eventually, everyone just fucking moves away from Earth, and Earth just doesn't even matter anymore. Let's see. Ennoblement doesn't seem to even matter anymore. My whole concept of that seems to just fallen apart. Yeah, no, I think that's basically it. None of my other questions really held up. Or at least, if they did hold up, they didn't get answered this episode. So, leave that for further episodes to figure out. Other than that, I think I'm done for today. As I said, I'm trying to do these once a day, so I think I will just catch you all tomorrow. And I'm enjoying the show. If I didn't say that out loud, if you didn't pick that up from all this, I'm enjoying the show. It seems like a very much more down to earth Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and while I enjoy the wide scope of Legend of the Galactic Heroes, I'm appreciating that I'm being introduced to this world character by character. And not like, I don't know how to phrase this. Being introduced character by character in a slow build up that I can feel like I'm easily working my way into, instead of having my brain ooze out of my ears every time I have to update Legend of the Galactic Heroes board. So I really like that. I was signing out. I'm going to ramble on for another hour if I keep this up. I'm signing out now. Thank you for joining me. Once again, if you're here for it, love you all. I will catch you next time. This has been Theta, another Stone-Faced Reactions. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?